Well, I think it was at its worst as far as the flipping goes. And unluckily for me, it was when I started really getting into it, to the collecting of it, was around the time that Mitchell and Ness was veering away from the older runs, from the Made in USA, Korea, El Salvador, and the like, and getting more into the China runs. And also, it was around that time too where people were kind of phasing out of the of wearing jerseys as like the thing to do, and they were getting into other clothing. So a lot of people were on eBay selling all their stuff, selling all their old jerseys, trying to get rid of stuff, and it was like a perfect storm because you had a lot of people come in. It was twofold. It was the people on eBay selling their stuff, their older jerseys that they bought, and they just wanted to get rid of them. So they were selling them for pennies on the dollar, back then. And then you also had Mitchell and Ness putting a lot of the older run jerseys on sale racks in the store. And then the flippers kind of caught wind of that, and they would come in and they would buy a bunch, or they would do phone orders or whatever it was, and they would just scoop up a lot of stuff. And then you would see them like weeks later on eBay for like double and triple the price that Mitchell and Ness wanted. They're still trying to get that cash. So you saw a lot of that, but you also saw a lot of people on eBay coming in, and back then it was different on eBay because back then you can see the person's eBay handle. So like today it's whatever dash 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 that whatever it's hidden, it's more secret, but back then it was more open. I mean, you can basically see the people who you were going up against, and it was usually those similar names would come up a lot. And the thing about the flippers is, it's not that they were putting down a whole lot for them, because obviously if they want to make a profit, they're not going to break the bank, to buy one or two jerseys. They're going to try to get 10, 20, at a certain at their price. And if they get it, great, and if they don't, they don't. But what happened with that was that you had a lot of more, you got a lot more attention on those auctions. So the other people would be coming in, collectors like myself, and then you get the flippers in there, and they're bidding, and it's just driving the price up. So something that you probably could have gotten cheaper, you would have to pay a little more, only because the flippers are getting in there, and they're again, they're not breaking the bank per item, but just that bidding activity just keeps adding more fuel to the fire, and that's when it became tough. And keep in mind, I mean, I couldn't go too high on these things either. So a lot of times, even for the flippers, their max was more than I really wanted to put at that time. So it was like the same people that kept bidding, and I'm like, I can't, go after this stuff as much as I'd like, because they're just going for higher than I wanted to pay. And this is at that time. So that's what made it tough. And for me as a collector, for me as someone who doesn't flip, who doesn't buy to relist and resell and try to make a profit on it, I just want to buy to wear it, to enjoy the jersey. I'm not about making money on it. Whereas, so that's where back then I always got frustrated, because I'm like, because you would. I mean, you would miss out on stuff. And in some cases, the flippers would snipe on the auctions at the very end. That's something that is common practice now, but back then it wasn't like all the time. But you would, I would miss out on something in the last seconds, and I would see the same exact jersey on eBay, a week later at double or triple the price. And it was the same one by, whatever seller, bought it. And yeah, that got a little frustrating back then. You miss out on at the time it would be like a Grail jersey, only to see it relist, for a price that there's no way I'm going to be going after. And yeah, that got a little frustrating. But, I don't look down on people who do it, because you know what? It's all about making that money, right? It's about that paper, and it's a free country. I mean, you can do whatever, one of the beauties of eBay is it's a place where you can go and you can sell stuff and you can make some money. And a lot of these people who do it, they buy something that they think they can make some money on. They put it on eBay, and it adds to that's money that they use to go after some stuff that they really want. They want to keep. So I don't have a problem with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it was just at that time. I think it was when it was at its worst. And then, of course, years later, you would have people on eBay, Facebook rather, and selling their stuff, and then you got these guys coming in and buying up like the whole lot, and then you would see on eBay the same jerseys weeks later, and at times it almost felt like the flippers had the first got first bids at some of this stuff, and it's like yeah. But it is what it is. I think the one example of a time where I was really frustrated was Mitchell and Ness had moved to their current location. They were on Chestnut Street. Now they're more on 12th Street in Philly, and they had just moved into this new store. Now it's their current store, but they just moved there maybe within a year, or less than a year even. And they had on sale racks in the clearance room a bunch of jerseys. And one of the jerseys I remember was the powder blue 1994 Junior Seau Chargers jersey. And at the time I had, it was in the clearance room, and it was with a bunch of other jerseys on a rack. And I picked it was around the holidays, and I picked out a couple of the jerseys that I wanted to get. I think it was a '94 Jerry Rice, like the Super Bowl jersey with the drop the drop shadow and all that, and the red one. And I got the older run Bo Jackson L.A. Raiders, the road white. I picked up those two, and I let go of Junior. I said, all right, well, next time so the next time I went there, like a bunch of the stuff that was on those racks were gone, and all the Junior Seaus were gone. And around that time, I think that's when he passed away. And I come to find them, on eBay the next week. City of Winners got them. And he had all of them on there, and I don't have a problem with him or anything. He's a good guy. I mean, I bought stuff from him in the past, and it is what it is. But at that time, I was just so frustrated. I was more frustrated at myself that I didn't get it in the first place when I had a shot at it. So if anyone was to blame, it was me. But I was like, damn, I could have gotten this to you. Now he has it for that price, and he will work with you though. I mean, he'll give you good deals, but. At the same time, it was like, why didn't I just get it at the time, And so that was probably one of the more frustrating moments I had with dealing with an instance where I missed out on something, with someone who was just, buying them to resell them down the road. But yeah, that was probably the best example of one that I can give on that. But again, I don't have problems with the flippers. I do think we're in a good time right now because jerseys really aren't that sought after. They're making a comeback. They are, particularly stuff like this. The old the Nikes and Champions and stuff like that. But really, for the stuff that I'm looking for the most part, it's not. And so there isn't a lot of profitability to buy jerseys to resell for what I'm looking for, as much as there might be with some of the other, older Champions or starters or stuff like that. That seems to be the thing now that the millennials are looking for. So, there might be more of a profitability in that than there would be going after older run Mitchell and Ness. So I don't really have to worry too much anymore about the flippers. But, if it ever does get to the point where jerseys as a whole would get to be this big, the fad thing to wear again, that's probably going to change. So I'm enjoying it while I can. Wow, that's a tough one. That I had to think about this for a while. Top 15 Eagles. Dennis Santos asked me that a bit ago, and I had to think about it. And this is in no particular order, but my first favorite Eagle was Fred Barnett, wide receiver, Arkansas Fred, so I'd have to go Fred Barnett. I would have to go Reggie White, Randall Cunningham, Seth Joyner, Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent, Donovan, Jeremiah Trotter, Brian Dawkins, of course. That's 9. Deuce Staley. Deuce. Boy, I gotta pick another 5. It's hard to narrow it down, but I'll try my best. 5 more. Shady McCoy, Deshaun Jackson. It's hard, trying to get down to that last 3. Hugh Douglas. See, I know I'm going to forget some players, but I can only pick 15. I would have to go. All right, I got 2 more. Ricky Waters, even though he was more known as a 49er, won a Super Bowl there, but he had some good years here. And last but not least, man, I know I'm going to forget some players. You know what? I will go with a current Eagle to round it off, and I'm going to go Malcolm Jenkins. It's a little too early, I think, for Carson Wentz, but I will go Malcolm Jenkins there in the last spot. I mean, there's plenty of others. I mean, obviously, T.O. gave us a great season, en route to going to the Super Bowl, but he really was only here for a little over a season. So, I mean, like I said, Jeremy Maclin, he gave us some good years. William Thomas was a really good linebacker for many years here, Willie T. Obviously some of the offensive linemen, Trey Thomas, John Runyon. I mean, there's a lot of honorable mentions in there, but those would probably have to be my top 15. And again, in no particular order, just these are the players that I saw in my lifetime, and I would have to put them in the top 15. But I know I left some players out, but I tried to remember as many as I could. So, yeah. So I guess that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for that reply to the question there by Dennis. So, man, I've been like battling this little kind of head cold I'm starting to get, so I'm a little out of it right now. But I'll live. So shout out again to Dennis Santos. Hopefully that answers your question. I had to think about that for a while, and those are my answers. So yeah. Oh man, Super Sunday, almost a week away. Super Bowl 51. Falcons and Patriots. Who do I got? Who do I think is going to win Super Bowl 51? You know what? Man, it's hard to pick against the Patriots, right? I mean, they just seem to know how to get it done. Unfortunately, one of those years against us, but I gotta tell you, man, I'm happy for Matt Ryan. Local guy, had a great season, MVP caliber season, and finally kind of got over that hump. Got to the Super Bowl, got the Falcons into the Super Bowl. So, shout out to him. Local guy done good. Penn Charter, and good to see a local guy in the Super Bowl. And if I had to pick, the team that I'd like to see win, it would be the Falcons. For Matt Ryan, and I like Julio Jones. I mean, it's hard not to like him. I wish he was an Eagle. Hell, I wish we had a receiver that was half the Julio Jones. um, that's a great offense to watch. I mean, that's just a fun team. But that being said, I mean, the Patriots probably find a way to slow them down. But I hate to have that freaking extra week. I mean, you give a guy like a Bill Belichick an extra week to prepare. I guess when he's not, filming the other team's practices or whatever. But that aside, I mean, you give that guy an extra week to prepare, man. It's hard. I mean, it's hard. I know Eli got them a couple times, but it's hard. But I'll be pulling for the Falcons. I'll be pulling for Matt Ryan. Probably wearing my Mike Vick jersey, Falcons jersey during the game. Just watching it. I was trying to decide who to wear because I have a Matt Ryan jersey. I might wear that Matt Ryan actually. I might go Matt Ryan. I might just go with that Matt Ryan, Matty Ice jersey during the game, and they're wearing the red jerseys. It's a red jersey, so I might just do that. Trying to figure it out on the fly here, but I'm having some people over. Should be fun, and hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully it's better than those championship games. Boy, they sucked. But who do I think's gonna win the game? You know what? I'll go out. I'll say it. I'll go out on a limb and say the Falcons because of how they've played. I know the Patriots. I mean, they're a really good team. They're going for history with Tom Brady trying to get his fifth. But I'm hoping Matt Ryan, pulls it out and the Falcons get the win. Although it kind of sucked that another team has won the Super Bowl before the Eagles, but still waiting. Although it is kind of interesting because the Falcons are franchise is 51 years old this season, and they're in Super Bowl 51. That's kind of interesting, but yeah, I'm hoping the Falcons win, but we'll see. If anything else, I'm just hoping for a good game. Make up for those lackluster conference title games. So, I guess I got the Dirty Birds in Super Bowl 51. So, go Matt Ryan.